So this is my little children's book. It's titled One Thing Right. And it is my memory of one day growing up at Woodlawn in San Angelo. And it's dedicated to my father, Roddy Robert Shanafelt. A rocky loam, our Texas home, where cattle and bluebonnets thrive. She's oak tree rich, those few acres which lay at the end of Woodlawn Drive. Dad worked the plot, tired and hot, and labored both night and day. He paid a debt of blood and sweat just to give me a place to play. Now I aspire to match the desire that burned in his heart so free. Of one day in the past, I'll write now at last the story of the Amber Lee. Affront the Captain's Point, a seafood joint, she lay a colossus wreck. Once a mighty ship, rain, rust, and chip, did rot her boards and deck. Upon the ship leaning, I missed his meaning in town when I heard him say, with wrinkled lip he said to the ship, the lone and level sands stretch far away. A month or more passed, now summer at last, when a surprise by truck was drawn. The ship I'd forgot my father had bought and hauled her home to Woodlawn. Both subtle and low, he somberly so said this sentence to me, take it as fact that one pure act now in this world will be. With blistered hands, rough from the land, he worked on her every beam. He'd fix up the wreck and sell her by heck, or so then it did seem. But then one day I was hard at play when I saw a strange look on his face. Of my friends he asked me, when he thus tasked me, to bring them to Woodlawn with race. We, upon our return, were happy to learn that brought out the ship had he. Mysterious event, he obviously meant to sail her out into the sea. Our landlocked plight, with no surf in sight, for an ocean so deep and blue, the dull green gloss, the weeds and moss of our little lake would do. Above the roar from us kids, we heard as Dad bids, we line up on the shore of the sea, where first I made note, on the stern of the boat, he'd painted the Amber Lee. With no further ado, for squirmish we grew, he gave each a position and fate. Then, pointing to me, I was proud to see he'd made me the ship's first mate. Pride, I recall, ran savage through all as he said to our line on the beach, to honor repay, we go brothers today, once more unto the breach. Dad angled her in and pulled the pin. She slid down the trailer of that boat. A splash among cries, before my own eyes the ship was at last afloat. Our captain shouted just then, all hands get in, so he took up the oars and helm. Then, last to arrive, he was wondrous alive, with a mission from another realm. Oarsmen singing the row, with wake we go. But I wondered so curiously at the unsolvable case of things out of place, the paint buckets that littered the lee. I gave wonder a chance, then Captain a glance, and realized, while seeing him there, the seaworthy pride that did reside in his actions and posture and stare. Then my puzzle was clear as the engineer, his mouth with a Kool-Aid stain. Water, he cried out as the captain did shout, grab the buckets and drain. Our valor did show, as each a hero, as madly with buckets we bailed, but with water so swift, our efforts to lift the ship from her grave thus failed. To break Captain's stare, the boatswain did dare. He said, down is our only motion. And we were buffaloed by the cryptic reply, like a painted ship on a painted ocean. Our captain turned back to his crew in lack and issued one final decree. Godspeed on your trip, abandon ship, I'll go down with the lee. He made the choice with strength in his voice and stood as the hull did tear. Nothing weakened his grip. He'd go with the ship while children flew through the air. We laughed like never before, then safe on the shore, but stopped as we turned to see our captain going to grave. He was wild in a rave, and he was gripping the helm of the lee. We heard a loud crack as she rolled on her back, and her fate did before us unfold. While dreadful her fight, she returned to upright, and the captain had kept his hold. But he and the ship under did slip, and never in the history of sea did a captain of past stay to the last and go down as valiant as he. I prayed him less brave than to go to his grave, and he broke through the top of the murk. He ended my fear. We gave a loud cheer, but he just smiled and went back to work. Still to this day, I can see her sway as she put up one heck of a fight. If we lacked in our lives, at least it survives that we did one thing right.